السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأزكى التسليم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, we're starting with Tafsir inshallah, and we are going to take Ayah 3 of Surah Al-Ma'idah. Ayah 3 of Surah Al-Ma'idah and Ayah 4, 3 and 4. حرمت عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل لغير الله به والمنخنقة والموقوذة والمتردية والنطيحة وما أكل السبع إلا ما ذكيتم وما ذبح على النصب وأن تستقسموا بالأزلام. This ayah talking about what? What is the theme of this ayah? What is halal and what is haram? To be eaten. What is halal and what is haram of food. So this is the theme of the ayah. And now, alaykum assalam. See what are the lessons that we could learn from the ayah. Why such things are haram or halal, and what can we learn from that? So we'll take about 5 minutes, inshallah. And please, together, I think you want to work in one group or two groups? Because there isn't much else. It's up to you. We'll not listen to you anyways. We'll listen to the brothers. Okay? All right. Have you finished or not yet? So the ayah mentioned what is prohibited. What can we say about what is prohibited? First of all, how many things are prohibited in the ayah? How many things? 3, 4, 6. 3, 4, 6, 0, 0. Busy. 7. We are in auction. Who bids more? They are 10 things. 10 things prohibited when it comes to food. And then there is 11th. The 11th is not about food. It is about وَأَن تَسْتَقْسِمُوا بِالْأَزْلَامِ. But let's discuss those 10 things and why they are prohibited. Why the dead animal is prohibited? The kuffar, you know what they said? When they told the Muslims, you kill the animal, you slaughter it and you eat. They say yes. They tell them, you eat what you kill, but you don't eat what Allah kills. The dead animal, who caused it to die? Allah. So why you don't eat it? A non-Muslim reads this ayah and asks you, why all these things, 10 things prohibited, why? Allah says so, and we submit, we obey. But there has to be a reason. And the dead animal is harmful. It wouldn't be prohibited unless it is harmful. If it's healthy, it will be alive. you look at all what is prohibited, it's prohibited for a reason. And it is for the well-being of the human being. Not only the Muslim, but for the human being. The blood, why is it prohibited? How harmful? If you wanted to know what's wrong with you, doctors ask you for blood test. Why? It tells you everything. Everything is in the blood. Blood is the most difficult thing to be digested. It takes longer time than the meat, than any other thing. And it is harmful as well. That's why Allah Azza wa Jal prohibited it. The flesh of the swine. Someone says, okay, flesh of swine is prohibited. I will eat the fat of the swine. Lard, you know the lard, the fat. So what's the ruling on that? It is still prohibited. So why the flesh is mentioned in particular? Because most of what is used from the pig is the flesh. But it is totally prohibited. That's the opinion of the vast majority of scholars. The opinion of school of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, he allowed the skin of the pig. There are slight differences, but generally everything is prohibited. Again, why? Pigs grow quickly, so it's profitable. Why would this be prohibited?
Pigs eat all sorts of things. Pigs eat all sorts of things.
They eat all sorts of things. So,
And harmful.
what if you raise the pig in your own farm and you feed it organic food?
It's with the pigs carry the disease also. Naturally they have a disease in their body.
They have a disease.
That allows them to eat almost everything.
Not only that. Now, physically they have a disease. And every now and then we hear of a new disease caused by pigs. Latest one was the swine flu. But that's not the last one. After that, few months back in America, a virus killed over 200,000 piglets. So every now and then, but people still eat pigs. That's physically. Naturally, the behavior of pigs. There are researches proving that we are affected by what we eat. And this is not something new. From the time of the Prophet ﷺ, he differentiated between the people of the desert and the people of the city. He said harshness and toughness in the people of the desert. Because of the nature, because of what they eat also. While the people of the city are softer. Now, there are researchers proving that. So you eat and you get affected and you become like the pig. No character, no morals whatsoever. And we see that, subhanallah. We wonder why we have all these diseases now. One of the reasons, what we eat. That's another thing. And that which has been dedicated to other than Allah. Fine. You say the blood is harmful. And the animal is dead, it's harmful. This was slaughtered. So the blood came out. The only thing, the one who slaughtered it was atheist. So what's the difference? You have two animals. This one was slaughtered by a Muslim and said, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. This one was by an atheist. And it's the same. Both animals died, slaughtered. Both of them lost blood. So why don't you eat from that? So what? You mention the name of Allah and you eat. Meat, we're talking about the meat. What's the difference? This is meat and this is meat. This was slaughtered and this was slaughtered. Why this discrimination? How? He used even better knife.
It is not a knife, it's the intention of slaughtering.
What do you have to do with the intention of slaughtering? You want to eat the meat.
One gives you reward, the other one is just the art of slaughtering.
One of the most amazing researches I read was a research done by a group of doctors, vets in Hama, in the city of Hama in Syria. There is a college, veterinarian college, for students who become doctors of animals, vets. They studied the effects of mentioning the name of Allah when you slaughter. And they saw that the cut of the meat, when Allah's name is mentioned, is straight. You look under the scope at the meat and you see it straight. While when the name of Allah was not mentioned, you don't see it like that. So even the name of Allah has an effect. For a long time, we don't know. We say, that's our religion. This one mentioned the name of Allah, we eat from it. That's what Allah commands us. It's about submission. Why? We don't know. And that's enough, that Allah commanded us. But there is still an effect. Recently, now other than meat, there are people who tried that on water. They took the water and they kept mentioning name of Allah, and then they froze the water. Others cursing and mentioning trash words and then freezing it. And look at the difference. It's good to try that, but don't break the glass. You see it different. Subhanallah, mentioning the name of Allah has an effect. So we're not allowed to eat what was dedicated to other than Allah. This meat, even we don't see it directly, the effects of it is harmful. It's harmful to your body, it's harmful to your religion. It's enough that Allah Azza wa Jal commanded us not to eat from it. And those animals killed by strangling. What happened when the animal is strangled and died? The blood remains. So again, it's just like a dead animal. So it is prohibited. Nowadays, they have most animals killed by gas. In the slaughterhouse, instead of slaughtering them, what do? They gas them. They die. And after that, what's the difference? You kill the animal by gas and then you slaughter it. It won't help. The blood has to come out. How? When the heart is pumping and it's taking all the blood out of the veins. That's how it should be. So strangulation, violent blow, the same thing. Headlong fall, goring of horns, وَالنَّطِيحَ وَمَا أَكَلَ السَّبْعُ, those from which a wild animal has eaten. That's also prohibited, except if the animal is still alive. A wild animal ate part of the leg, and then you came and the wild animal ran away. The animal is still alive, bleeding. You can slaughter the animal and eat it. And those which are sacrificed on stone altars. You see, all what is prohibited, there is a reason for it. Whether we knew it or we didn't know it. Whether we knew it or we didn't know it. We don't eat from that meat. Prohibited is that you seek decision through dividing arrows. Why? Why? Where is reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is the prohibited pessimism, or what we call tiyara. That you come outside and because of what you see, you decide, I'm not going outside. Where is reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So this is prohibited. But when it comes to food, how many things are prohibited that are mentioned here in the ayah? 10. 10 things are prohibited. Okay. Few days ago there was the Deep Valley celebration. This is for Hindus or Sikh? Hindus. Only Malaysian Hindus, not Indian Hindus? No? Even the Hindus are divided? Yes. Those are the Salafis or the... Okay, so those Hindus, they gave you plate of food on the celebration of Deep Valley. Do you eat or you don't eat? No. Why? Yeah, that's why they are celebrating, so they wanted to give you some food. They have this 8-handed God that they kept the food for a few hours and then they gave it to you.
But the food is prepared in the course of their religion celebration. So if we are consuming the food, we are like agreeing with their
No, I'm hungry and that's free food. Was it slaughtered to other than Allah? They gave you special candies. Special candies. What do you think? Is it permissible or prohibited? Candies should be okay. They are sweet. You see, in the ayah, what was mentioned, mainly the meat. Living animals. So there is an effect. But fruits, vegetables, candies, they are not mentioned. So it should be okay. You're not participating with them, you're not approving of what they are doing. And it happened at the time of the companions. Ali radiallahu anh, he was given food on the day of Nayruz. Nayruz is day for Persians, the fire worshippers. And he accepted that. So the ayah is addressing mainly the meat. What about fish? Halal fish. Do you need to slaughter? No. This is about land animals. Okay? Then the ayah says, this day, اليوم يئس الذين كفروا من دينكم فلا تخشوهم واخشون. اليوم, today, this day. It doesn't mean that this particular day, even though this ayah was revealed on the day of Arafah, but it means now. Just like when you say ams. In Arabic, when you say ams, it could mean yesterday or it could mean in the past. Same thing here now. The religion is becoming perfect. So there is no going back. The religion is complete. That's what Allah Azza wa Jal is saying. Umar radiallahu anh, when he read this ayah, he cried. Why? He told the Prophet ﷺ, after perfection, there will be decreasing. And 81 days after this ayah, the Prophet ﷺ passed away. Okay, any questions about these two ayat, about the meat and the rulings of food? Yes. Yeah. This blood usually is remaining. Now, most of the time there will be some blood left. You can get rid of it, you should. But if you cannot, it's permissible because you didn't target the blood. You're eating meat. Most of the time there will be some blood left in the veins. You're not allowed to collect that and eat it together like you are. But what is hard to get rid of is forgiven. So
That's the best part.
the best part is not the blood, the meat. And we need to see so we can judge.
What's the ruling on the illness of the animal, especially like lungs, livers?
What about eating those parts?
Internal.
Internal organs. As long as it is not ritually impure, you're allowed to eat it.
But some of it are really like, it's actually blood, isn't it? Some of the parts of the inner organs are actually.
Liver. The Prophet ﷺ allowed liver. Liver is actually the storage of blood.
Yeah.
But that's an exception. Other organs, you empty them and you eat them. If you can, if you want to. Any other questions?
I was reading an article about killing of the fish. This article was saying that the fish which is dead, and you found dead at sea, cannot eat them.
Why?
It could be poison or whatever it is.
Could be. Now, if you know that it is poisoned, that means it's going to harm your body. And if it's harming your body, you cannot. But to say dead fish is prohibited, no. What about it?
It's poisonous.
It's not mentioned specifically. Generally, we have what is harmful prohibited. But you cannot say this particular fish is prohibited. Generally, it is allowed. But if it is proven that this particular fish is harmful, poisonous, causing harm, then yes. Many fishermen, how they kill fish? They don't have nets. They have explosives. So the fish is dead. You cannot say, oh, they cannot be eaten because they are poisoned. This is an act of terrorism that's allowed. Any other questions? Okay. The next ayah, ayah 1 of Surah Al-Anfal, the beginning of Surah Al-Anfal, one ayah. So we need to go quickly through this one and the next one. Ayah 28 of Surah At-Tawbah, Surah 9. So ayah 1 of Surah 8 and ayah 28 of Surah 9. Just 5 minutes, please. We don't have time, so let's hear the brothers. Ayah 1 of Surah Al-Anfal. What does it talk about? Distribution of? No. Spoils of war, that's what we call ghanaim, not anfal. Anfal, this is something additional. What the imam gives to the fighters outside of the division of the spoils of war. Why this? Because the Battle of Badr was the first one. Muslims fought the kuffar. So the Prophet ﷺ was giving the Muslims incentives. Whoever killed so-and-so will get so-and-so. Whoever did this will... That's what we call anfal. Ghanaim, spoils of war, that came later. The same surah. Ayah 41, where Allah Azza wa Jal said, وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّمَا غَنِمْتُمْ. That's the ghanaim, spoils of war. Here, anfal. So this is additional. That's the Anfal. What about the Anfal? The companions, after the battle of Badr, disputed over them. I deserve this, I deserve that. So Allah Azza wa Jal reminded them, why we fight? It's not for money. It's for the sake of Allah. So leave everything to Allah and the Messenger. Once they submitted, after that, Allah Azza wa Jal allowed them. So it is important to be pious, to have pure intention. And subhanallah, this ayah, it's amazing. Why? Because if the companions disputed over financial things, why do you expect we don't do the same? Are we better than the companions? No. That's why always make sure that everything is clarified. First things, everybody is happy. Yes, inshallah, this is good. This is for da'wah. This is, and then after that, disputes happen. Whenever there is no money, everybody is volunteering. Everything is okay. Then when money comes, everybody wants his or her share. This happened a lot. So this is a reminder. There has to be the right intention. And with the right intention, there has to be clarification. Next ayah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إنما المشركون نجس. O you who have believed, indeed polytheists, they are what? Unclean. Najas. What's the meaning of najas? Impure. So what do we do with them? How many times we should wash them? Do you shake hands with polytheists? Yeah? What does it mean? Spiritually, we don't have this term spiritually in Islam. This is biblical term. We have the soul, we have ritually, but spiritually, spirit and... Anyways, it doesn't mean physically impure. Some people thought that they are physically. No. Ritually, they are impure. Their beliefs. And therefore, when this ayah was revealed, the Prophet ﷺ sent Ali radiallahu anhu to Abu Bakr, because Abu Bakr was the leader, the Emir of Hajj, year 9 of Hijrah. And the announcement was made, this is the last year. No non-Muslim is allowed. Next year, what happened? When the Prophet ﷺ performed Hajj, only Muslims. Why? Nowadays people ask, non-Muslims, why don't you let us go and see Mecca? There are no restrictions. You want to go, you're welcome, but you have to be a Muslim. You have no business in going there. Nowadays, a Muslim wants to visit any country and there is a long list of requirements and visa and this. And now when we are protecting our city where the house of Allah is there, they come and say, oh, why is this? You're welcome, but you have to accept Islam first. Allah Azza wa Jal reminded them, because some people will complain, what about my trade, my business? It's depending on that. Mecca used to be the hub, financial center. Every tribe, every people come and they trade in Mecca. Allah Azza wa Jal reminded them, if you fear poverty, if you're afraid, ask Allah, depend on Allah. Same thing in our time. When people are dealing with non-Muslims who are directly helping their governments, their countries to kill the Muslims. And you are told, you are reminded, what are you doing? You're helping them. No, what can I do? It's my... No, you have to do something. That's what Allah Azza wa Jal said. Allah will enrich you from His bounty. Okay? Any questions? Any questions? All right, we'll take the prayer break, inshallah.